Graives and Sutton got the takes. So come on in and gather around. The Wrestle Recap podcast starts right now. It's the Wrestle Recap podcast. Graives and Sutton got the takes. So come on in and gather around. The Wrestle Recap podcast starts right now. It's the Wrestle Recap podcast. Graives and Sutton got the takes. So come on in and gather around. The Wrestle Recap podcast starts right now. Starts right now.
Welcome to Wrestle Recap. Once again, I am Dylan Graives, flying solo, bringing you the Raw recap. This week's Raw live from Providence, Rhode Island at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. But before we get further into this, if you want to support Wrestle Recap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we're doing. But with all that being said, let's get into this. So the show kicked off with a graphic for the late great Psycho Sid, who passed away. From myself and John Sutton here at Wrestle Recap, we want to offer our condolences to the family. Obviously, they're not going to hear this, but it's the thought that counts at the end of the day, I guess. But yeah. The Judgment Day kick off the show, though. And Carlito just remains a giant goof. Liv welcomes everyone to Monday Night Raw and tells them to all rise for the Judgment Day. They then show a replay of them taking out Rhea and Damian Priest last week. And Carlito says, that was cool. JD says that beating was a long time coming. And Finn says that they aren't the bad guys here, because Priest and Rhea betrayed the Judgment Day. Did I just try to... I think I just kind of like attempted an Irish accent in there. Tried to sound like Finn. We're just gonna breeze over that, other than the fact I just addressed it. I'm leaving it in, is what I'm getting at, along with that rambling. Liv says that she should thank Rhea for being so egotistical and self-centered because it made all of this happen. Dom tries to talk, but of course, he gets booed out the building. Carlito and Dom yell at the crowd in Spanish, and Dom eventually gets some bits of his promo out, and he says that Liv does things for him that Rhea never did, like helping him beat his deadbeat dad. Obviously, the crowd makes it incredibly hard for Dom to get anything in, but Dom announces that he is entering the Intercontinental Championship tournament, and then the LWO interrupt. Ray calls Dom a lost soul in need of help, and he tells him that at least when he was with Rhea, one of them had a set, and it sure wasn't him. Ray says that someone needs to put Dom in his place, and Dom asks if that's going to be him, because he's already beat him. Okay, yeah, but the score is like 2-1, so you're still behind Dom. Ray tells him to, Ray insults Liv. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Ray insults Liv, so Liv tells Dom to hit him. And Ray tells him to do it so that he can slap the stupid mustache off his face. Dom says he'd like to see Ray try, and JD goes for a cheap shot on Ray, but Ray blocks it and a brawl ensues. LWO clear the ring, and Dragon Lee hits an assisted tope over the top, taking out the Judgment Day on the outside to take us into a commercial break. And on the other side of the break, much to probably nobody's surprise, we have a match now. 8-man tag, LWO versus the Judgment Day. I noted that I think we all saw this coming when the LWO was all in ring gear. And Finn has control over Dragon Lee, but Lee takes control, showing us that he should be doing a lot more than just being an LWO lackey. Ray hits the wheelbarrow DDT for a near fall, and Del Toro hits a springboard crossbody for one. Wild and Del Toro hit a double team splash for a near fall. I noted here that Del Toro and Carlito have basically zero chemistry through this match. I do later have in here that Carlito just seems to be completely lost through most of this match, so I don't know that it's Del Toro and Carlito so much as just Carlito being completely absent-minded. Del Toro gets isolated in the Judgment Day's corner, but he stops a double team move from Finn and JD. Wild gets the hot tag and takes control. LWO clear the ring and line up for a triple S dive, but the Judgment Day kind of hit him with the Samoa Joe and just walk up the ramp to dodge it. So instead, Del Toro and Dragon Lee slingshot Wild off the second rope and up the ramp to take them out, to take us into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, though, Carlito is taking control once again, this time over Joaquin Wilde. Carlito seems to be lost through most of this match. As I said, we were going to get there, and we did. The Judgment Day hit a collective flurry of attacks on Wilde in their corner, but Ray gets the hot tag and takes the fight to Dom. Ray hits the roll-through kick for a near fall and goes up top, but Dom meets him up there. Dom goes for a superplex, but Ray punches his way out and hits a sunset flip powerbomb for two with JD and Carlito making the save. Wild and Del Toro go for a pair of stereo springboard drop kicks, but Wild loses his footing on the top rope and just ends up falling behind Carlito. The whole thing, it would have been a really nice stereo move, but it's live action, and sometimes things go wrong. It ended up looking pretty dumb. But it's high risk. High risk, high reward. Dragon Lee takes Finn down with a head scissor. Dom is left alone at this point in the ring with the LWO, and the LWO go for like a 4 stereo S dive, one out each side of the ring, but they run off the ropes first. It looked very clunky because they did not have the timing down. So you had guys, they got too fast and had to stop and wait. And it was just a mess. Ray sends Dom back into the ring and sets him up for the 619. Ray manages to hit the 619, but Finn distracts the ref, allowing Liv to pull Dom out of the way of the splash. Dom rolls Ray up to pick up the win, but we're not done yet. Ray's all alone in the ring at this point with the Judgment Day, and the LWO try to make the save but get taken out. Finn and JD get Ray on the announce table, and Dom goes up top for a splash, for the frog splash. But Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley come out to make the save. Liv tries to flee, but Rhea catches her, and Priest takes out the rest of the Judgment Day basically on his own, leaving Dom alone up on the top turnbuckle still. Liv jumps on Rhea's back, and the rest of the Judgment Day intervene. Oh, yeah, because Dom jumps down to try and get away. He's boxed in by Priest and Rhea in the ring. Then Liv jumps in, the rest of them jump in, and yeah. JD and Carlito take the bullets tonight, though, with JD eating a Riptide and Carlito eating a South of Heaven. Obviously, the main characters get away. The side characters take the bullet once again. We find out that the Intercontinental Championship tournament is going to be triple threat matches that feed into a fatal 4-way. Going to be rough for my note taking, let me tell you. A lot of pausing. Jackie Redmond is with The Miz, and Jackie asks his mindset after the last few weeks. Miz says it was pretty good until she mentioned that, and he goes on to list the things that have happened the last few weeks. And now he has a chance to tie the record for the most number of times holding the Intercontinental Championship, which would be 9 times, tying him with Chris Jericho. Bronson Reed interrupts the interview, and Reed tells Miz that after he maims Braun Strowman tonight, he's coming back for The Miz. And then Damage Control come out for their match as we head into the commercial break. Following the break, the New Day is getting ready for their respective matches this week, and they talk about how they're able to communicate like adults, and that's how they've made it 10 years strong as a team. Kathy Kelly talks to Pure Fusion Collective. Such a dumb name. They could have straight up called themselves the Shooters, and it would have been better. Still dumb, but better than this. Shayna and Zoe have been teams. Oh, I skipped part of it. The interview, they talk about the people they've taken out and say that Damage Control is going to be next. So we head down to ringside for the match then. And I noted that during their entrance, Shayna and Zoe have been a team for years, and all it took was adding Sonya for them to finally get a custom Tron. Io and Zoe start the match, but Io gets dumped to the outside, and Sonya lands a cheap shot as we head into the commercial break. When we come back, we get a double down before Kairi Sane gets the hot tag and takes control. Sane hits an interesting counter to both Shayna and Zoe. To take both Shayna and Zoe down. Sane hits a shoulder tackle and sliding forearm in the corner, followed by a diving forearm for a near fall after an awkward pin. Sane locks in an arm bar of sorts, but Shayna powers out with a powerbomb and locks in an ankle lock. Shayna hits a knee strike, followed by a springboard missile dropkick from Zoe for a near fall, with Io saving the match. Zoe gets Kairi Sane up top, but Zelina Vega blindsides Sonya at ringside. Sane headbutts Zoe down, and Io takes out Shayna. Sane hits the insane elbow, while Io Sky hits the over the moonsault to the outside, leading to Damage Control picking up the win. Overall, I would say yet another solid match from these pairings. It seems like they work pretty well together, these two teams. So I would not be surprised if we end up seeing this probably a handful more times. We then get a promo video from Bo Dallas addressing Chad Gable before heading into the commercial break. Following the break, Drew McIntyre comes out, and Drew mocks CM Punk's standard promo formula, and let's be honest, show me the lie. He had it pretty spot on. The only thing that he left out was basically turning and asking the crowd to cheer for him. Granted, Punk does it in multiple different ways, typically just by saying that, and you still cheer for me. Like, he incites him. He's basically like, please cheer for me. But, in less direct words. Drew calls the crowd enablers for chanting Punk's name. And he says that it's funny that a 50-cent piece of trash causes so much emotional harm to Punk. Obviously, referencing the bracelet that he has taken from CM Punk a couple months back. Punk's music hits, and Drew stands ready, but Punk hits him from behind with the strap and goes for the bracelet. McIntyre takes control, though, on the outside and goes to whip Punk, but Punk counters it and begins whipping Drew on the announce table. Security come out to break it up, and Drew flees into the crowd, but Punk starts to whip the security guards and just fight them off. as we just abruptly end that and head into a promo vignette from Braun Strowman. Then we catch up with Jey Uso, who is back in the concessions area, and he asks him to please hit my music before he enters through the crowd, leading to Michael Cole splooging himself while trying to get Corey Graves to yeet with him. And it happened, y'all. Corey Graves started yeeting. I love this so much. It's so stupid, but it's great. Corey Graves was yeeting at the end of the match. Like, I love this. Michael Cole didn't want to start doing it, but McAfee got him to start doing it. Now, Cole got Graves to start doing it. It's great. I love it. It's stupid, but I love it. And I don't know. It's so dumb, but I love it at the same time. Following this, we head into the commercial break, and even the WWE is making jokes about McAfee getting drunk and still getting paid for College Game Day, because when we come back from the commercial break, we get like pretty sure they showed like a clip from when Sheamus was there and they were all guessing, and there was a noticeably hungover Pat McAfee. But now it's time to get into the tournament match. We got Jey Uso versus Karrion Kross versus Kofi Kingston. And Michael Cole tells us that this is Karrion Kross's first triple threat match in WWE, which is kind of crazy. Kofi goes right after Kross at the start, and Jey joins him, and they take out Kross in the corner. Jey rolls Kofi up for a 1, and Kofi hits a spinning elbow for a near fall. Kofi goes for Trouble in Paradise, but Kross drags Jey out of the ring. Kofi takes down Kross and Jey with a dive from the top to the outside as we head into the commercial break. Following the break, Karrion Kross has taken control over Jey, with Kofi having been eliminated from the equation for the time being. Jey hits his combination of punches before he hits Kofi with a hip attack, but Kross catches him with a boot. Kofi hits a crossbody on Kross for 2. He also hits the boom drop on both Jey and Karrion Kross. He sets up for the Trouble in Paradise once again, but Kross ducks it, so he only ends up hitting Jey instead. Jey rolls out, though, and Kross takes control of the match, hitting a powerbomb for a near fall before locking in a cloverleaf on Kofi. However, Kofi counters it into an inside cradle for a near fall. Kross dodges a diving nothing from Kofi and takes him out with an elbow. He then dodges another diving nothing, this time from Jey, but Jey then runs off the ropes to hit him with a spear, followed by the Uso splash to pick up the win. And Jey Uso moves on. Obviously, Jey was going to be the one to move on. The New Day and the Final Testament are already in a storyline. The only reason those two were both in this match is so that this match had storyline plus the actual winner. So, end of the day, predictable, but predictable is not always bad. When it's predictable, it makes sense. When it makes sense, it's better to watch. I would rather it make sense than have it make no sense. We get an Instagram promo from Gunther, who's already in Europe doing live events. And I think we go to commercial break here. I could be wrong, but I feel like I just missed it in my notes. Nonetheless, we get Randy Orton, who comes on out. And good guy Randy is never not going to be weird for me. Him talking to the audience and thanking them, it's just odd to hear. Like, to me, Randy is always meant to be a heel. It's just how he is. So, it's definitely weird to have him cutting promos and not be a bad guy. Randy says that the World Heavyweight Championship is the most important one to him, and that would be because he is the youngest to ever hold it. He was also the one holding it when they merged the old one with the WWE Championship to make the Undisputed Championship. So the title means a lot to him. He talks about winning, what winning in Berlin would mean, and he talks about Gunther. Says that he grew up in front of us, having signed his contract at 19 years old. He kind of briefly hints to the Legend Killer days and says that Gunther has never been humbled since coming to WWE, but he's going to humble him. And Randy calls his shot at becoming a 15-time world champion, which would put him in second place by himself, just behind John Cena and Ric Flair. Braun Strowman comes out ahead of his match with Bronson Reed as we head into the commercial break. Following the break, we get a promo vignette from Unholy Union, and then we get into the match. I still find it hard to take Bronson Reed seriously as a badass when he comes out wearing his little spiky back Godzilla jacket. Braun starts with a running drop kick and takes control, and man, do drop kicks look dumb coming from a big guy. Like, it literally looked like he just ran and then sat down in midair. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, for a big guy to be doing a move like that, that's insane. I mean, I guess not insane, but it's out of their normal character to hit moves like that. But then again, Bronson Reed hits S-dives, so that's also out of character for them. Not taking anything away from him, other than the fact that they never book him to win when it matters. We cannot, as the fans, we will not care about someone that you so clearly do not care about as well. Reed explodes out of the corner with a clothesline to take control, but Braun hits a running crossbody. However, Reed stops a corner splash with a boot and follows it up by hitting a diving crossbody from the second rope. Braun Strowman rolls out of the ring, and Bronson Reed proceeds to hit him with a S-dive to take us into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Reed hits a DDT and goes up top, but Braun is up too and throws him down before going for a power slam, but Bronson Reed escapes. Reed hits a hot shot on Braun and decides that he's done with this and starts to leave. Braun runs up the ramp after him and knocks him down before trying to send him into the LED board, but Reed turns it around on him. They head to the back where Reed throws a trash can at Braun, and security tries to get between them, but Braun just takes them all out. They fight into the parking lot, and Braun choke slams Reed onto the hood of a car. Reed then hits a tsunami onto the roof of the car before Pierce, refs, and producers show up, and Bronson Reed sounded like he was having a hard time out there. Like, his breathing was so heavy and so gargly. It did not sound like this man was cut out for what he was making himself do. I don't know. It did not sound like a healthy breathing coming from him. Like, I understand breathing heavily, but it was like a gargly breath. I don't know how else to explain it. We then get a commercial break, and when we come back, we get a flashback to before the break, and Braun is being helped in the parking lot, and he says that he can't feel his fingers. Michael Cole tells us that Reed got up and walked away, refusing medical attention, but we could all hear that man's breathing. He's probably right off to the side getting some oxygen. But now it's time for another tournament match. We got The Miz taking on Pete Dunne, taking on Xavier Woods. They all trade roll-up attempts at the start until Miz and Woods take out Dunn. Miz gets a pin for a near fall. Dunn stomps on both Miz and Xavier Woods' hands, and Miz dodges a moonsault from Dunn, and it looked like Dunn landed wrong because it looked like he may have tweaked his knee or something. Like he landed hard and immediately grabbed his knee. Woods hits a drop kick through the ropes on Dunn after Miz dodged it. Miz takes control on the outside with a tornado DDT drop kick combo. Before we head into a commercial break, I'm fairly certain because just the context of what's in my notes here. Because then immediately after that I have Dunn has control. So I'm assuming that we had a commercial break. We come back. I see that Dunn is in control. I write, Dunn has control. That's just how my notes work. It's not flashy. It's pretty boring. But I gotta remember the stuff somehow. Woods hits a tilt-a-whirl Russian leg sweep, which weird combination to hit that move. Followed by running elbows in the corner. He then hits a Cesaro swing, shout out Claudio Castagnoli, on Pete Dunne. And Miz comes in and hits them both with a DDT for near falls on each of them. Miz hits his It Kicks and takes out Dunn and goes for a crossbody on Woods, but Woods catches him and rolls through, turning it into a T-bone suplex of sorts. Woods decides that that's not enough, so he hits Miz with a gutbuster before powerbombing Pete Dunne onto Miz, before attempting pins on both of them for near falls. We then get a three-way chop battle, and Miz goes for a double skull-crushing finale, but could not land it. The Miz sends Dunn out of the ring with a boot and goes for the skull-crushing finale on Woods, but Woods counters it into a roll-up for 2. Miz finally lands the skull-crushing finale, but Dunn comes in and throws Miz out of the ring to pin Woods for 2, with Miz saving the match. Pete Dunne locks in a crossface on Miz, but Miz reaches out his hand and puts it over top of Woods to make a cover. However, Dunn did not break the hold. He just rolled through, kind of just rolled over back and dragged Miz with him. Woods ends up taking them both out with a pair of kicks before he hits the limit break elbow on Miz for 2, with Pete Dunne dragging the ref out of the ring to save the match. Dunne sends Woods out of the ring and hits the bitter end to Miz to pick up the win. And I would say this was probably match of the night. If I'm remembering correctly, I would say this was probably match of the night. Following this, Jackie Redmond talks to Braun Breaker, and she wants to know what his mindset is after seeing 2 people that have qualified for the Fatal 4-Way. And he basically says that he doesn't fear anyone that's qualified in the tournament so far. Can't blame him. We then get a promo vignette from Chad Gable on Bo Dallas before we head into the commercial break. Following the break, we get a flashback to Priest and Rhea fighting the Judgment Day earlier before we get a promo video from Priest and Rhea talking about the Judgment Day. They then run through the Bash in Berlin card while I jam out to Eskimo. Nope, they're not Eskimo Callboy no more. They're Electric Callboy and Baby Metal's song Ratatata. We then get a video package in memory of the late great Sid Udy, better known as Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, and Psycho Sid. Following the video package, we head into the commercial break When we come back, we run through the announcements for next week. That being 2 IC tournament matches. The first being Sheamus versus Bronson Reed versus Ludwig Kaiser. I am expecting Bronson Reed to probably advance through that because we got Sheamus versus Kaiser already in a feud. We then also got Ilya Dragunov versus Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio. And I feel like it's going to have to be Ilya on this one, even though there's been no real build-up for him, because LWO and Judgment Day seem to have a thing going. So they just seem to be pairing 2 rivals plus a third for these matchups. And the formula is that the third is the one that wins it. And we also got Zelina Vega taking on Shayna Baszler. But now it's time for the main event. We got Chad Gable taking on Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy takes control to start and basically forces Gable to dance with him. It's pretty funny. Gable tries to fight back, but Uncle Howdy takes him down and maintains control as we head into the commercial break. Gable hits a dragon screw and goes up top, but Uncle Howdy dodges the diving headbutt, and they fight each other as they're getting up to their feet. Gable hits a belly-to-belly suplex on Uncle Howdy over the top rope and out of the ring. Gable hits a diving clothesline from the top to the outside. And the crowd tells Gable that he sucks. Gable runs right into a backdrop from Uncle Howdy on the outside, and Uncle Howdy hits him with a hip press against the barricade. Uncle Howdy sends Gable over the announce table before clearing it off, and he sets up for a suplex on the announce table, but Gable counters it into an angle slam. Gable gets back in the ring to go for a count-out win, but Uncle Howdy gets back in at 9. Gable gets Howdy up top and starts landing some punches before hitting an exploder superplex. Gable then hits 3 German suplexes and drops the straps to go for Chaos Theory. However, Uncle Howdy stops Chaos Theory and does the Bray Wyatt upside down hang thing before hitting a Uranagi for 2. Uncle Howdy hits a rope-assisted spinning neck breaker and goes for Sister Abigail, but Ivy Nile gets up on the apron, causing a distraction, allowing Gable to escape and lock in an ankle lock. Uncle Howdy gets to the ropes, but Gable doesn't break the hold, so Uncle Howdy rolls through, sending Gable into the ref. Following this, Uncle Howdy hits the mandible claw on Gable, but the Creeds show up to assault Howdy. They drag him out of the ring and beat him down against the barricade, but Uncle Howdy just starts laughing. And then the lights go out, and when they come back on, the Wyatts arrive to take out the Creeds. Ivy Nile jumps on Rowan's back to try and stop him, but it really doesn't. Rowan just keeps on going like she's not even there. Gable goes for a moonsault, but Uncle Howdy dodges and hits the Sister Abigail to pick up the win. And he does like the Bray Wyatt pose to end the show. Everything's very Bray Wyatt with this, which obviously it's the Wyatt 6. It's just, it's weird. Like, even knowing that Bo Dallas or Taylor Rotunda is the character, it's still weird to see someone else doing the Bray Wyatt shtick. I don't think it'll ever not be weird. Like, I'm not trying to trash on it, just, it's weird to see. I'm torn at this point. Like, I like the concept of the Wyatt 6, but I'm honestly torn on whether or not they should be doing it. I see both sides of the argument, I do not know where I stand. But that does complete the Raw recap. Once again, I've been Dylan Graives. This has been WrestleRecap. If you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below. Let us know how we're doing. And until next time, hopefully John Sutton will be back. It's been busy, so our schedules don't always line up to get this done. But hopefully he'll be back next week, or yeah, I guess next week. But if not, I'll at least be here still. Probably not going to be till later in the week. I'm going on vacation, so I will be out of state and unable to record. So I'm going to be busy when I get back to get caught up on on watching, on getting my notes, on recording, on editing, on getting all these pumped out, because I do not want to fall behind again. But I'm going to stop rambling so that I can get out of here for the night. And by, again, get out of here, I mean I'm going to go next door to go to bed. But that concludes this episode. You can click, there should be a video floating on your screen. I believe it's supposed to be like the one that YouTube recommends for you most or best, whatever. I'm rambling. Have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. If you listen this far, I appreciate you. John appreciates you. We appreciate you. Goodbye.